Hey folks, Dude here, coming in from the first Republican get-together where they pretty much just try to shellac each other, show each other why their balls are dragging the floor better than the other guys, and of all of them, the only person that really proceeded to just simply just clock everybody upside the noggin and show them that his balls were dragging on the floor, leaving grooves and doing some very attributably excellent things in terms of bringing up subject matter that politically correct guys wouldn't, was Donald Trump. Now, of that, I'm going to say simply this. The only thing I think could possibly come out of the water, and, from left side, whatever, right side, from the ethers, from, someplace in just, la la land, the only thing I think that's possibly could screw us is that Donald Trump is a plant. He's saying all the politically incorrect things. He's trying to attribute as much gravitas to say that, I am the other guy, even though he really, truly doesn't intend to follow through on those things as a very staunch conservative or a very, very staunch fix-it type of guy once he gets to Washington and not be corrupted by the process. Now, of that, the other guys kind of made a showing, kind of made a couple lines, kind of made a couple things, but the person that stood out front and center and just took over the thing and completely smacked everybody to the point where they were gobsmacked was Donald Trump. Now, the only thing I really fear is he is going to be like a Ross Perot. The reason why Bill Clinton got elected president was Ross Perot, running as a third party, saying he wasn't a Democrat, even though, there is very, very deep attributions to Donald Trump being very not conservative. And the thing about it is if he puts on new clothes and tries to show himself as something different, when he really truly isn't, he could be that guy that goes, oh, okay, I'm going to jump third party and I'm going to slurp off, a good chunk of the votes. Ross Perot sucked off 18% of the votes. That's why Bill Clinton got elected. The Republicans had no way to counter that fact that somebody else pulled off 20% of the votes and directed them either nowhere or for a guy that really, truly had no real good intention to run as an independent. The thing about it is Ross Perot was always known to be a very pretty much staunch, well, kind of not really talking about it in public, Democrat. Now, the thing about it is of all things, Trump is actually from New York, okay? I'm from New York. I am a turncoat. I am an absolute turncoat. I am completely against everything that New York City stands for, okay? All the infighting, all the stupid politics, all the stupid way to stick you every way but Sunday for a fee, fine, or what have you, to make you pay for everything. I went there years and years and years ago, and it cost $17 a person to get an e-ticket ride, to ride the elevator, to get on top of the Empire State Building. Now, it's like living around in, the Washington metropolitan area like I currently do in Baltimore. If you live here, you really don't go down to Washington, D.C. and do all the touristy stuff. Yes, I did that during school, and yes, all the, the kind of student trip type of things that you do. You basically go to, the Washington Monument, and you do this, that, and the other thing, and you check out all the Smithsonians and all the rest of that good stuff. If you live here, you really don't do that. Just like in New York City, I was never on top of World Trade Center. I was never on top of the Empire State Building. I'd never been to the Statue of Liberty. The only time I ever saw these things was when we were driving around in my parents' car, or we had happenstance to basically go from here to there and what have you. But let me put it in perspective. My brothers live in the boroughs. My dad lives New York area north of Manhattan by about 12 or 13 miles or so. To get in a car and drive that distance is nothing, okay? You pretty much just drive up the roadway, bing, bang, boom, you're there, minimal trip, maybe 30, 40 minutes max with even traffic at its absolute worst. But my brothers, who still live in New York City, will not visit my dad. Why? Because they don't have a bus or a train going there. That's the mindset. If you don't have a bus or a train ticket to get someplace, or a cab, which will be, ridiculously expensive, just kind of going round and round. But the thing about it is there's a lot of mindset for New York City that is very much kind of like the Parisians versus the French countrymen. The people that actually live in Paris, there's even two distinct French languages. You have French and you have Parisien. Kind of that same kind of mindset with the guys who are from New York City. Being from New York City, I got the toot, okay? I'm from there. I'm cocky. That's how I am. But the thing about it is those people who are from New York City do not realize just how much more of New York State there actually is. New York State is big. It's not a small state. It's like right at par, if not slightly smaller, or close to Pennsylvania. Very close in terms of size. It is not a small state. It goes up to Canada. It goes along a pretty good chunk of that little edge that takes you up towards New England. There's a lot of New York that is not New York City. And put it in perspective, pretty much, this would be the state of New York, okay? This would be New York City. And that's being generous. That's like Long Island. That's like Staten Island. That's like all the boroughs and everything else would literally be about that. That's New York State versus New York City, okay? Those people who don't live in New York State resent a lot of stuff that New York City does do. Now, going back to Donald Trump, I'm trying to go not too terribly round and circuitous here, but he has a particular mindset that he's portraying right now. He has a particular persona he's portraying right now. Now, whether he amped it up and he tried to make him look like something more than what he was previously, that remains to be seen. But I, in my heart of hearts, hope he is not doing a Ross Perot. It doesn't go third party and slurp off, like 20% of the votes to try to get, Hillary or somebody of her like in. That's the only thing I fear. Now, if he stays staunch, if he stays Republican, if he stays that front runner that pretty much nobody else can counter, even though I really truly like Ted Cruz and I really, really like Rand Paul, both of those guys would be awesome in his cabinet. Ben Carson, good guy, not so much. There's a lot of things that Ben Carson is just too much of a nice guy to follow through and actually do credibly. Yes, scary smart guy. If he was in that cabinet, he'd be able to do some amazing stuff on the medical side of things because he's been there and done that. As a politician, you need somebody who has been on both sides of the equation, and you might need somebody who's a maverick like, Donald Trump. Why? Because he's had to play the game to make stuff happen. He knows what it is to throw. He's even been honest about it. He's like, I spent money on Democrats and Republicans trying to get stuff done. It's the only way to get the influence is you have to give these guys money. That needs to change. Hopefully, if he's in office, he does make a change. Now, he also made a point about, this new tax thing he's talking about. He said, what was it, 1, 5, 10, 15% or something along those lines, where pretty much if you make under $30,000, you pay 1%. If you make $30,000 to $100,000, you pay 5%. If you pay $100,000 to $1 million, you pay 10%. If you pay yourself, or you make in excess of $1 million, you pay 15% of your yearly income. So 1, 5, 10, 15. Not hard. That's even easier than than Herman Cain's 9999. Whatever the heck that meant. But the thing about it is that is a graduating scale. It's a whole hell of a lot more fair than what the current tax rate is. And like he said, you literally can do the thing on a postcard, mail it in, bang, bang, boom. That's your tax return. We could probably get rid of the IRS with how much money they cost, the confiscatory stuff that they do, all the stupid gamesmanship they do, them being a political arm of the Democrat Party, or either party. I'm a registered Democrat for a reason in Maryland, so I can jack with the system, but I truly am a libertarian. I'm going to break up on this one, folks. Donald Trump might be the guy, but he might not be the guy. See you guys.